Before we start chatting about this episode, be aware there will be spoilers.
Spoiler alert! Shields up!
So we start with Lee being walked through the main thoroughfare in handcuffs, his wife behind him screaming that he didn't do this, and everyone else, including Dale, Ed, and Alex, watching it happen.
So it's causing a disturbance, which leads people to check out what's happening, so the police then claim the number of people exceeds some kind of legal limit.
But does that mean Mars is on some kind of permanent legal curfew or something?
Well, looks that way. And if you ask me, it also looks like the police are trying to make a disturbance happen, walking through the main thoroughfare like that.
Maybe there was no other way to get to the station.
So, since Lee's arrested, Ed wants to go and see him, but he can't, as visitation rights have been revoked. They really want to instigate a riot, don't they?
Well, Ed's obviously not happy about that, so he walks all the way to the police station to see him anyway.
He's like 80. What's he gonna do?
Well, for starters, he has to fill in a form, and maybe he'll see Lee in a day or two.
Or he could just remove his ankle monitor in front of everyone in the station.
Which gets him arrested?
Yes.
And put in a cell right next to Lee?
Yes.
So he got exactly what he wanted, to see and talk to Lee despite the imposed restriction?
Yes.
Those police officers aren't too bright, are they?
No, they aren't.
So we learned that dead guy was someone Lee was jealous of because he was getting close to Moon Young, his wife.
Yeah, he kept buying her presents and such. See what not having any boundaries gets you?
Lee didn't kill him, McCluck.
Yeah, but they did get into a fight over that unwise attention of his.
Which would explain the DNA under the dead guy's fingertips.
It all fits, but that won't change anything. Lee's due to be deported to a neutral country for trial.
A neutral country? That's what happened to Sveta!
And look what happened to her.
Well, we don't know what happened to her.
That's the whole point.
Still on about that?
Why shouldn't I? It was never resolved, was it?
No, I suppose it wasn't.
And then everyone knows Lee's getting deported.
How did that happen? Ed only heard about it from Lee, and they're both arrested and in cells.
Looks like the Mars police is as leaky as a colander. Now this leads Dale to get a mysterious text to meet someone somewhere.
Sounds ominous.
It's even more ominous as he's doing it covertly. Turns out it's Palmer who sent the message.
Palmer? The head of police?
Also the guy who tried to kill Massey at the end of season 4.
Looks like he's turned into even more of a bastard, and he's pressuring Dale to tell him if there's going to be a riot or something because of the Lee situation.
Why would he agree to that?
Because Palmer's threatening to reveal to everyone that he squealed back in 03, and that's how they found out the secret communications room when they tried to divert the asteroid to Mars.
So, he was being tortured. He's just a civilian. Who can withstand torture?
He did for a long time until he couldn't. The guy's a hero.
Bloody hell, this is messed up.
Messed up or not, Palmer's got him over a barrel.
The arrogant little twat.
So Ed, who obviously was only arrested for a day because of his ankle monitor stunt, goes to Dev to try to get him to help Lee.
The dude's a hero. He was the first man on Mars.
That again? Oh, please, let's not remind ourselves of the amazing 3rd season.
Well, he was. And the asteroid wouldn't be orbiting Mars if it wasn't for him. They owe him.
Turns out, Dev can't do as much as they hope. I mean, let's not forget, he's a fugitive too. But he did hire the best legal team for Lee.
Lawyers? You gonna trust lawyers?
Although the conversation finally leads to an explanation about what happened to Sveta.
About damn time.
So what happened to her? It turns out she hung herself in her cell.
Like, that's not suspicious at all.
That's exactly what Ed thought. And still thinks.
Well, at least we now know what happened to Sveta.
Yeah, the Ruskies killed her, just like the North Korean will kill Lee if he gets back to Earth.
Troubles brewing.
Especially since Ed's not gonna allow Lee to be deported, no matter what Dev does or doesn't do.
What's an 80-year-old gonna do?
You keep saying that. Don't dismiss our elders like that.
Meanwhile, Boyd's got some doubts herself and goes to talk to Moon Young.
Turns out, the dead guy was working for Kuragan, Helios's Russian competitor? Yep. But aren't they not allowed to hire undocumented workers? He was obviously doing some kind of dodgy work. At night, on the planet's surface.
That's all well and good, but shouldn't Boyd or any other officer have figured this out before arresting anyone?
Better late than never?
Sounds like poor detectiving if you ask me.
Or maybe it's just a contrivance to artificially create tension for this episode.
Always the cynic.
I prefer to see myself as a realist, Mouse.
Well, of course you do. So, not having had any luck with Dev, Ed's gone straight to the governor to ask him to reconsider deporting Lee, but Polivanov's not up for it. He even twists facts to strengthen his position, like when Lee threatened Danny with a gun when he first encountered them.
A Season 3 event again!
And how that gun was used to shoot Danny during the riot.
Something's dodgy here.
Well, don't forget Kurgan's a Russian company, and Polivanov's Russian too.
Something's rotten in Happy Valley.
You think?
Meanwhile, one of the Seekers on Titan might have found traces of amino acids and polypeptides.
What does that mean? Life, Gigi. They might have found evidence of life. Oh, that was easy. Yep, Kelly's been stubbornly digging in the wrong place for over 20 years.
Like that was hardly a surprise. She's gonna be pissed.
Well, her focus is on finding life wherever it might be. So she's reporting back to Walt, who's in charge of the Titan mission, and she suggests that sending a manned mission to Titan would be a better idea, just to make sure the Seeker got the right results before it broke down.
Why not just send other robots? Titan's a long way away.
Because of the competition. If Helios is too slow, they might get to Titan and find it before Helios does.
But Walt's not up for that. He wants to send robots.
Another little twat, it seems.
He just thinks Kelly wants a manned mission so she can be on it.
Does she?
Well, maybe. Although she claims her focus is on Helios and for them to claim the discovery first.
Come on, she totally wants to go. And at dinner with Ed and Alex, Ed reminds her that going by the book and not taking risks is why they lost the moon when they could have landed Apollo 10 instead of just orbiting and returning to Earth.
He's still on about that.
Come on. He lost being the first man on the moon and on Mars. Wouldn't you be?
Well, yeah, I suppose.
Anyway, after she's gone, Alex then asks Ed what's gonna happen with the Lee situation as he wants to help. And Ed just shuts him down, not believing that he's genuine about wanting to help. So, asshole Ed's being an asshole again.
You surprised the grumpy old goat is now a grumpier older goat?
When you put it that way, I suppose I shouldn't have been.
So, Kelly goes over Walt's head and talks to Dev, who agrees with her. Walt will command the mission, and Kelly will pilot it.
But she hasn't flown in years.
Yeah, well, she's going to Titan.
With Walt, who's already pissed off with her. There's a lot of people pissed off this episode.
Damn straight. Pissed off enough to formulate a plan to rescue Lee from his earthly fate. Will it work? It won't. If Dale squeals. He better not.
So meanwhile, Boyd's now staking out the Kurgan space elevator to see if anything untowards is happening on the surface of Mars at night.
The dead guy's shift?
Yep, and lo and behold, a shuttle lands in the dead of night.
Ooh.
Delivering unknown cargo.
Ooh.
So, Boyd's onto something. That's right. So she heads up straight to Corrigan's headquarters.
What? Right away?
Yes.
On her own?
Yes.
And I was just starting to like her.
Don't worry, nothing happens. Except the Kurgan secretary she speaks to is being super cagey and suspicious, even denying what Boyd saw with her own eyes.
So she is onto something.
She is, but she better hurry because Palmer moved the prisoner transfer up by 1 hour.
Nothing like upping the schedule to increase tension. Well, she now has good reason to want to stop the transfer, but Ed's escape plan is already on the way.
Dropping pressure in the passenger section. That's exactly what he did to that Russian back in Season 2.
Well, it doesn't go exactly to plan, as the biggest god is still conscious enough to shoot at Ed's accomplice.
But he was supposed to be the pilot to fly Lee away from here.
It's okay. Ed's gonna have to fly the hopper.
But he's not allowed to fly because of his condition.
Ed's a stubborn old goat, remember?
Yeah, and it's gonna get him killed. And Lee.
Anything to raise the stakes.
Although I do like how they have white hoppers and black hoppers.
It's so you can tell who the good and bad guys are.
Just like the good old days.
So Ed's taking him to the ISN base. What's the ISN base?
It's the North Korean base. Since they're no longer part of the M6, they had to have their own independent base.
And that's where Lee's going?
Yes.
But didn't Ed fear that if Lee went back to Earth, the North Koreans will kill him?
Well, maybe the Martian North Koreans are different.
You sure about that?
Well, where else would he go, McCluck? Back to his Soyuz capsule?
I told you not to mention stuff from Season 3. Well, whether it's safe or not, Lee makes it to the base just in time, but Ed, he might actually have run out of time.
Da, da, da.
Well, that was a fun episode.
Oh, it certainly had its moments, but it looks like it's turned into a regular show that just happens to take place on Mars. We've got snitches and assets and prison breaks and police investigations and stakeouts. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was good and enjoyable, but what a departure from the show's other seasons.
Different is good, right?
It can be. I'm reserving judgment for now. There were a few things I thought weren't too satisfying, though. Like, it's bloody obvious Karrigan, Helios's Russian competitor, is up to no good, and that the governor's somehow in on it.
Well, that was pretty much the worst part of the episode, I agree, but maybe it's because that's not supposed to be a season-long whodunit? Ever thought of that?
Ah, you're right, I hadn't. So yeah, if it gets wrapped up nice and fast next week, I suppose that'll be fine.
Look at that! A vote of confidence from McCluck.
Hey, I can be positive. Like, most of the rest of the episode was solid. Even Kelly pushing to get to Titan was good.
Although, you have to wonder how a manned mission to Titan would be quicker than just sending some more robots. I mean, the logistics of it all would take months, if not years, to make it happen.
There is that for sure.
Well, maybe they have a spaceship just ready and waiting for that sort of thing?
Whatever it is, we won't know until later on this season. Focusing on this story's chapter, I enjoyed the show.
What about the stakeout?
What about it?
Well, usually, a stakeout is a covert op you monitor in a nondescript vehicle to see what happens. Except, on Mars, there's nothing nondescript about a vehicle just parked right outside the biggest construction site on the planet with no other vehicles around.
Lucky it worked then, didn't it?
Yeah, that was really the most ridiculous aspect of the episode, and shows you can't really do a regular cop show on Mars.
Well, what about the fact the show felt a little too white hat, black hat?
Like the white hopper being chased by two black hoppers? Bit too on the nose for sure.
Well, I hope Ed's okay.
He will be. The dude survives everything.
Yeah, but his cancer's flared up because he flew.
How does that happen exactly?
Well, the lower oxygen levels and cabin pressure changes can increase risk of a flare-up. At least on Earth.
Ah, well, learn something new every day.
Although, I'm not sure how that would work on Mars, considering every habitable module is pressurized.
Looks like it had to happen.
So the story could happen?
You're catching on.
But we never got to learn what the Heart 6 means, though.
It means taking chances, Gigi, like a desperate last-ditch effort to succeed.
Ah, like a Hail Mary.
Exactly. And it applies here to Lee's escape and also for Kelly wrangling it to get herself to Titan.
At least, the show's finally gonna take us somewhere else in the solar system.
Yeah, with a little luck. But again, that's another setup for later down this season.
So that's all we have for this one. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll give you the response you deserve. There were a few things I thought weren't too satisfying, though. Like, it's bloody obvious Karrigan, Helios's Russian competitor, is up to no good, and that the governor's... oh,